without a substantive motion. So why are we questioning the senator when he is contributing on issues pertaining to a statement that was presented here? So protect the member, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Karungu, Senator CHERARGEI is very safe. So far, so good. If you need any protection, I'll be there for him. But so far, so good. Proceed and finish up your remarks, kindly.
Mr. Speaker.
And really pick up your ones carefully because you don't want any other's point of orders on your statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for that guidance. But it is known and it is on record, Mr. Speaker, that in this House, I'm one of the senators who always make the best Solomonic decisions, even when the country is at the crossroad, Mr. Speaker. Even, and Senator Dulo can bear me witness. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, Senator Faki should always be appraised with himself. I have a man who makes decisions based on the facts that are there. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, when you look at the book of Professor Tom Ojienda, the book called Conveyancing, that was ordered by my good lecturer and my neighbor, Senator Professor Tom Ojienda, he says land is an emotive issue. Then he puts up a full stop on his preface of the book. But also, he only sells that book very expensive. But the point that I want to make, Mr. Speaker, is land is an emotive issue that we must. Yesterday, Mr. Speaker, you had the minority leader. He brought an issue of evictions in his county, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, we must agree that let this lapset issue, Kenyans who they lost their land, they must be compensated, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, with those very, very many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I congratulate and wish well Senator Shakila Abdallah, Mr. Speaker, and I hope the Lands Committee shall, because also we have also problems in Nandi of land. There is, even before elections, I went with the then chaired by former Senator of Kajiado called Senator Baye, and we visited. And there are many Kenyans that are suffering because they have been illegally, irregularly dispossessed of their land. So I hope the Senate rises up to the occasion and address this issue once and for all. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. There's no other request. So let's get the statement from Senator Professor Ojienda. The two statements together.
Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for indulging me. I have two statements. The first statement is on a current issue on cage fish farming in Kisumu County. Mr. Speaker, I rise under Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries regarding the massive death of cage fish in Lake Victoria, Kisumu County. In this statement, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee should, 1, investigate the cause of the recent large-scale death of fish in Lake Victoria that has resulted, Mr. Speaker, sir, in devastating losses for fish farmers in Kisumu County, stating the number of cage fish that have died. Secondly, provide a record of cages in the Kisumu County section of Lake Victoria, as well as that of cage fish farmers, and state the financial implications of the sudden death of the cage fish. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, sir, outline the measures the county government of Kisumu has put in place, if any, to mitigate the losses incurred as a result of the massive death of fish, as well as the mitigating the environmental causes of such death in the long term. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, sir, to state the legal framework or regulations that the county government of Kisumu has adopted to govern and regulate cage fish farming, and whether there's a legal recourse for cage fish farmers recouping of the loss of their investment. The second statement, Mr. Speaker, sir, is on the sugarcane farming and the sugar sector, sugar industry within Kisumu County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise under Order 53 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries regarding challenges faced by sugarcane farmers and the decline of the sugar industry in Kisumu County. In this statement, Mr. Speaker, sir, I seek that the committee investigates the persistent challenges surrounding policy formulation and implementation, the management of sugar factories and financial woes that have led to decline of sugar production and resultant closure of sugar factories in Kisumu County. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, to address the plight of sugarcane farmers within Kisumu County who wish to experience productivity in sugarcane farming as an economic enterprise. Thirdly, to cause the county government of Kisumu to address the perennial challenges plaguing sugarcane farming in the county and undertake a visit to the various sugar factories to ascertain their status, functionality, productivity, and various measures, if any, adopted to address the plight of farmers internally. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, sir, to summon the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Agriculture to explain the measures taken by the national government to ensure productivity and profitability of sugar manufacturing factories in Kenya and any incentives that have been created in a bid to ensure this goal is achieved. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Is it a point of order? You want to make a comment on the statements? Yeah?
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
But he's already done with the statements. Is it concerning the statements or on different matter?
Concerning the statement.
Then make a comment on the statement, not a point of order.
Mr. Speaker, you have just made a precedent. You allowed the Senator of Mombasa, Faki, to interrogate what Senator CHERARGEI did yesteryears. Using the same latitude, Mr. Speaker, could you allow me to congratulate Professor Tom Ochienda for his concern about the woes, financial woes, facing the sugar industry. And as he does so, is he also prepared, Mr. Speaker, to also go and explain to the farmers of Mia Sugar Company on the role his clients and himself played in occasioning the same problem to the Mia Sugar Company, Mr. Speaker?
No,
My
but
learned
you
friend,
know,
sorry, the
we
Senator
are taking
for
the wrong route, honorable members. You know, you are interrogating your own colleagues in the chamber. I think you are opening a Pandora box. Because, just a minute, Senator Karwale, don't go that route. Because you might be asked some serious questions which you will not be able to also interrogations.
Thank you.
No, Professor
Mr.
Tom.
Speaker, sir,
No,
I'm most obliged.
you made your case, Professor? Yes?